That wasn't good.
What's going on?
The crampon isn't on my shoe properly. Here, just come across this way to me so that if you fall on me. Our first big trip together was Cataract Peak back August 26th of 2020. August 26th, year one of the COVID. 2020 for those of you who
are uncultured and don't know.
And that was long.
It was long.
It wasn't our longest trip in terms of days, but it was a hard one. The first day was like 6 or 7 hours, I think.
And I had never backpacked before.
Yeah.
So I was not used to carrying that much weight.
That one at far left, that's Cataract. That's a big boy, Kayla. Anyways, you can see Cataract. There's Little Cataract, the left of it. Oof. Ow, small rocks. Ow. Ow. Yeah, this was kind of our first mountaineering trip.
Kind of.
Our first, like, ourselves-led mountaineering trip, I would say. And we made it to camp the first night, and I was like, oh yeah, the route looks pretty self-explanatory. We have just chosen a bivvy site. We're climbing that tomorrow. Should be pretty self-explanatory. The next day, immediately start off in the dark, go up the wrong way. Oh man, just coming up this slope. It's like the loosest shit I've ever dealt with. It's just a maze in there of ledges and gullies and...
Oh man. I remember we were going up like that first little snow patch and you were like, there's a ledge up there we can get to.
Go up right over there, then take this across.
And I couldn't even tell that there was a ledge. I thought you were just pointing right at like a sheer cliff.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were trying to get onto.
Good technique. Go up there, kick your toes in for this one. So you have to use the front pointing. Yeah, you want to get those 2 front spikes in. And then trust your axe. Good. Nice. There was something there.
It was very small.
Yeah. And the whole mountain was really loose, but that part was like surprisingly not as loose as I would have thought.
Yeah, it was okay.
Good job, Kayla. This is good. And then the glacier was really small, but it was so cool.
It was one of the best parts, I thought.
Oh man. Yeah, because then once you're off the glacier, you're on the West Ridge, and it was loose. Okay, where to now is the big question. Looks like we gotta be pretty careful here. Oh. Yeah, good decision.
At one point you were sitting down because you were about to kind of like shimmy down a little section, and suddenly like the rock right under like your left butt cheek just fell away.
That wasn't good. It took me like
It was crazy.
3 minutes to go down like 1 meter, I think. It was absolutely
It
insane.
was not good.
Nope. No. Don't use that. And then we finally made it to the top.
And we called
like,
Mom.
A bit more than 4 hours. And like, Mom, we're gonna be late tonight.
Really late?
Because from the top, we could see not to where we had to go,
but to the pass
to the pass, which was 13 kilometers away from the car, and it looked unimaginably
so
far away.
Like how I was like, oh my god, how are we gonna get all the way down and then to there tonight?
Yeah,
that was crazy.
It was nuts. And then, so we go down, not the way we came up, because the West Ridge is really hard. Saying goodbye to views from the summit ridge one last time before we make our descent. Okay, fuck, let's... Yes, this is it now. We're going down, and like 10 minutes into the descent, we get to this ice patch.
We were on a really steep ski slope also.
Yeah, well, it was probably only like 40 degrees maybe.
Really? Oh, it seemed like so much more.
It seemed like a lot.
My memories of it are like crazy steep.
Yeah, but it was ice.
I thought it was snow.
We had strap-on crampons.
And mountaineering ones too, not like ones suited for
ice climbing. And
one mountaineering ice axe each, and no rope.
Yeah, and so we start going across. Crampons start coming off. Left crampon isn't on my shoe properly. Okay, let's hope this is better. And so we have to like stop while on the ice, try to like get the crampons back on the feet.
I think I skipped that step.
Damn it, it did it again. Crampons coming off. I tried it a bunch of times. Eventually, one of my crampons came off. Oh, and this ice patch led to cliffs, by the way.
Yeah, I was just saying, huge drop below us. And we were right near the bottom of it, because you're supposed to stay at the bottom.
Well, we were kind of high.
We were?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought we didn't have, like, that much below, like, ice between us and the drop.
Oh, we had, like, a good 30 meters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, my memories of this are warped.
And
I was so scared.
yeah, eventually one of my crampons came off and I just slid down the ice. This was after we were past the part where it would lead to a cliff, though.
You landed in the scree, which then the scree eventually leads to a cliff, but... Yeah, and I remember I was crying, which was really bad because then I couldn't see also.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did I tell you to stop crying?
Yes, you did. You were like, stop crying, Kayla. You won't be able to see. And I was like, oh, I know. I already can't see. And also, I was like holding my ice axe pretty close to the top of it. And whenever I would hit the ice, I would smack my finger on the ice. And I didn't realize it, but I was bleeding.
Oh my gosh.
It was a tiny cut too once afterwards, but it was bleeding like quite a bit. And then I remember when I got down, I was like so upset. I was like, I'm bleeding.
I think that was the first time I was like a bit scared in the mountains.
Yeah.
And the only reason I knew that I was scared was because I wasn't too concerned about Kayla once I got off the ice.
Yeah, usually you're very concerned about me.
Yeah, but once I got off, I'm like, Kayla, stop crying. Go higher up and complete this.
I remember you kept being like, go upwards.
And then we followed this ramp. And then basically it was a maze, and it was so hard getting down on the lower mountain.
It was crazy.
There were like all these different ledges you could take, and then the one we ended up on,
these huge slabs of rock.
Yeah, right? there was water.
And the thing is, without the water, the rocks were like pretty grippy. But as soon as the water was on them, they were so slippery. Yeah, they were so slippery. It was crazy.
Yeah, so it was like, and like all the upper parts of the rock were wet, which means the only parts that you could step on were right close to the bottom, which was, there was a cliff there. And so you're like obstacle coursing over these wet rocks.
There would be like these tiny little dry patches that you could step on, basically.
And
it sucked.
Yeah, I'm happy that didn't last too long. Almost off the mountain. Really hard stuff. We just need to get to that snow and head down gully all over back to the bivvy. Kayla's mentally exhausted right now. So there was a little patch of snow, like just like 15 meters of snow that we had to cross. But it was like steep enough that we needed crampons on, so we got the crampons out. Corey's
carrying all of my stuff, by the way, this for like the whole ascent.
Oh yes.
Because I feel like that's pretty key to mention.
The day before,
I was so tired.
Kayla was so tired, and I told her, you're not going to carry anything tomorrow, because if we're going to have any chance of doing this, we need you to be
carrying no
ready.
Weight, yeah, basically. But so Coy hands me my crampons, but I only wrapped my hand around one of them, and then he lets go, and the other one just slides down this scree slope, and then it goes like into this crack between the scree and the ice.
Yeah.
And I just was instantly thinking, oh my god, it's gone forever. And I had literally just bought them. This was like my first time using them. I just burst into tears. I was so upset.
Yeah. It was, but it was fine.
Coy just walked down and went down and got it. Basically,
I mean, it was possible that it may have not been there, but luckily it was.
And then I stopped crying, and I felt really stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got back to camp and packed up and ate lunch really quickly.
Yeah, and then so from camp it was 24 kilometers out.
God.
And there was another 700 or so meters of elevation gain. By the time we got back to camp, we had already done like 8 kilometers and like 1,000 or 1,100 meters. I think it was 1,100 meters elevation gain.
Something like that. And I was really, really, really tired, even though I wasn't carrying any weight.
Yeah. First. But so going back started off not great. for Kayla.
Yeah, I was so tired.
And like the first 4 kilometers is like bushwhacking.
But
Kind
not
of.
bad
It's not awful
bushwhacking.
bushwhacking,
But I was
but
already just pretty mentally and physically worn out.
yeah. And it was a bright day. It was kind of hot. We were
Yeah,
probably a bit dehydrated.
I felt so dead. And then we came to this field of flowers, and it was sunny.
Yeah, it was so nice. It
It
was
was so
such a
nice.
beautiful area.
And then somehow, as soon as like we came to that field, I just got a sudden rush of energy. And it was like, wow, everything's great and the world is
Yeah,
perfect. And honestly, if it wasn't for that, we probably would have had to spend another night.
yeah, because like I think
It
we
was not
woke
good.
up that day at like 4:30 in the morning,
Something like that, yeah.
and we got out at 11:30 at night.
Yeah, long day.
It was super long. It's
It
probably
was.
like 16 and a half hours of like the hiking stuff, like if you take out the lunch part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good trip.
It
And
was.
I say that it's like our first kind of mountaineering trip just because it was so complicated.
Should be pretty self-explanatory.
To figure
Yeah.
out how to climb the mountain, and then also technically difficult as well.
Yeah. Technically, we were on a glacier.
Yeah, just
Not roped.
yes, it was just so complicated.
Should be pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I wasn't used to,
Carrying that much weight.
well, yeah,
You had my
the
weight,
weight a
too.
bit. It was more just like having to think that much.
Should be pretty self-explanatory.
When you do scrambles that like there's
A
lots
lot
of
of data on.
information that people have done, it's easy to figure out what the route's going to be. You don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
We started in the dark, and then by the time the light came up, it's like,
Where
like,
were we?
where do we go?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good trip, though.